Now, Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy is no longer our buddy. Late in the week, people pointed out that his bio on WWE.com has been changed, and he is no longer listed as Buddy Murphy. He is now merely Murphy. Like RoboCop, the guy from WCW. Post-wrestling, John Pollock's site has confirmed that those within the company were told of the change going forward, so it's not just, it's just a website bio, who cares? No, this is apparently an official thing. The directive has been given. Those bios don't just change on their own on the website, so he is no longer Buddy Murphy, he is now just Murphy. And I could not believe the amount of people on social media up in arms about this name change. Yes, it is completely unnecessary. You've heard me rant before about Andrade losing the Cien Almas and Mustafa Ali losing Mustafa and some of these dumbass name changes that in most cases are completely unnecessary. Every now and then it might make sense. All right, this guy sounds cooler with the one name, or, it's easier to say it with the one name. More often than not, it's just completely unnecessary and stupid. So, I agree, completely unnecessary. But Vince McMahon is a psychopath. We can agree on that. We know this already. I'm not saying it isn't silly or stupid for him to keep murdering people's first names. Apollo Crews got his name back. Mustafa Ali eventually got his name back. So who knows? Maybe Murphy will also. Maybe Murphy will be reunited with Buddy one day. But can we all please stop pretending that Buddy Murphy was ever a good name in the first place? It wasn't. Just like Dolph Ziggler, 12 years later, is still a shit name. Now, is Murphy much better? No, it's not that much better, but it's no worse. But you would read these tweets, you would think that people were devastated by the name change. How could they? How could they do this? Really? This is the hill that you want to die on for the name Buddy Murphy? I hope Adrian is listening. Adrian from Melbourne. He's been listening to this podcast since episode 148. That's how far back he goes as a listener to the show. He's one of the OGs of the Sound Off. He's the one who first exposed me to Buddy Murphy in the first place. At the time, he was wrestling down in Australia as Matt Silva. I think his real name is Matt Adams, but he was wrestling as Matt Silva. And he emailed me. I still have the emails. I went back. He emailed me in March of 2013, all excited that Silva had been signed by WWE. He was the only person who got signed from their tryouts in October of 2012. He said, what a pickup, he said, for the company. He'd been singing the guy's praises for years. Adrian worked with him when Adrian was an independent wrestler, and he could not say enough good things about this guy. He said WWE is going to be flushing a lot of talent down the toilet if they give him some kind of outrageous gimmick. He's a badass. That's how he should be booked. Fast forward to September. Later on that year, I get another email from Adrian telling me last week he was given his new name, Buddy Murphy. Said some drug addict behind the scenes watched The Nutty Professor with the character Buddy Love, played by Eddie Murphy, and decided it would be a great name to give this ass kicker from down under. He was beyond upset. I remember laughing at how dumb it sounded. And then in NXT, they paired him up with Wesley Blake. Eventually, they both lost their first names. They just became Blake and Murphy. And then when they split, he became Buddy Murphy again. So he's already been reunited with the name once before. Now, I'm a believer that the cream rises to the top. That isn't always the case, of course. You look at poor EC3 and whatever the fuck is going on with him. I can't wait for him to leave that company. I love, by the way, on Instagram this week, Chris Jericho posted a picture with EC3. They were together. They were hanging out somewhere, having a drink, talking about God knows what. And Jericho was saying something to the effect of, this is going to be a big year for EC3. Now, I don't know when his deal is up. I've heard 2021. I don't think he's got like a ridiculous amount of time left on his contract. So he just has to wind down. I know he's been out with concussion issues. So my fear for him is that, even if he comes back, they'll do the old, oh, well, you were hurt, so we're going to tack on months that you missed to your contract. So I don't know when he's going to be free and clear to leave that company. And I don't see them just giving him his release. I'm not aware that he's ever asked for his release. But clearly there is a home for him if he wants it at some point in AEW, at least as far as Chris Jericho is concerned. He, like a lot of other people, see something in EC3 that is not being tapped into right now, and it's a crime. So I love seeing that. And hopefully that's a sign of things to come just for him in his own career. You know, whether or not you like the guy or not, I would think you would want to root for him to at least have a shot at success. He never even got a shot in WWE. But more often than not, I think cream rises to the top, regardless of all these obstacles and stupid names and stupid gimmicks that may be put in their way. It was a dumb name, you know, but not so dumb that it would kill his career. And I'm happy to see him now doing well on Raw. You know, he's one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions. He's in the main heel faction on the show. He's trying to give him some rub from Seth Rollins. I think that's great. I have not said anything about the name in years. This was not an issue until this week, when all of a sudden they chopped off the first name. Stop acting like they're taking the name Buddy away is some egregious act on their part. He never should have been given that name to begin with. No one was ever going to chant, Buddy, Buddy, Buddy. Okay, no offense to anybody with the name Buddy, because I think we have a few people with that name who listen to the show. As a wrestler, when I think of Buddy, I think of wrestling buddies. The ones they sold years ago, Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior and the Macho King and DiBiase and all that. I think of wrestling buddies. I think of dolls. Or I think of a dog. A lot of people name their dog Buddy. They also name their dog Max. Just don't tell MJF that. Adios is what I say. Murphy it is. Personally, I'd like to see more cool names like the ones we had in the 80s, like Axe and Smash and Hawk and Animal, and we had Sting and the Destroyer, and names and nicknames that actually sound cool. So I think this could be an opportunity for them. You want to market somebody? Right? They're big on marketing and coming up with unique names. Why not something like Madman Murphy? Or Maniac Murphy? I have people trying to tell me about SEO. Solomonster, you got to look at the bigger picture. It's all about SEO. Search engine optimization. You got to keep Buddy. It's unique. Unique does not make it a good name for a professional wrestler. You make it sound like, oh, because it's unique, it's a good name. Just because something sounds unique does not make it good. I could debut tomorrow on TV as Punch-Drunk Pinochle Pikachu. That does not make it a good name. Yeah, I may come up number 1 in the Google search results or Google Trends, but my career is ruined now. I mean, come on, you got to weigh the pros and the cons here. So Buddy Murphy is now Murphy. I think it's fine. And I hope that he continues to soar because he's too good not to, regardless of whatever name they give him. But please, let's stop pretending that Buddy Murphy was some great name for him. It wasn't.